This is Mrs. Groves, and today I'm going to go over the answers to the 6.7 book homework, which are these problems. At the end of this video, I will have the answers to the back page of the 6.7 notes that you can go to this YouTube video to check your answers. The 6.7 homework had a variety of evens and odds. The odd problems are your responsibility to check in the back of the book and redo them to get the correct answers. I'm confident that if you put your effort into looking at the answers and looking at the problems, you can figure out what you're doing wrong. We're going to go over the evens in class. And so the first question on the homework was to describe what is the difference between an equation and an inequality. So our equations are y equals mx plus b typically, and it's simply a line. That's an equation. An inequality is slightly different, a little bit more work. An inequality means that you, and remember you always label the x and y, and you are going to graph the line, okay, and it's either dotted or solid, and then you're going to test a point, and if this point is a solution, then you shade that side. So that is the difference between an equation and an inequality. The next two even problems had to do with, here is an inequality, here is a point. Is this point in the solution region for this inequality? So here's your x, here's your y. You simply plug those into this equation. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3 times 2. 10 and 6 is 16. And that is true. So this point is a solution to this inequality. Okay. Here we only have one variable. We only have the y coordinate. So we're simply going to check -7 less than or equal to 8. That is true. So again, that is a solution to this inequality. Now we have 4 graphing problems. Here, first one we're going to do is number 20. Okay, so the slope is -2/1. The y-intercept is 8. So our y-intercept is here. And we have a negative slope, so we go down 1, down 2/1, down 2/1. And we draw a solid line. And you ask yourself, why is it solid? It's solid because there is an equals. Now, which side are we going to shade? So we pick a point, and the origin is the easiest point to check. And we check this point in our original equation. So y is 0 greater than or equal to -2 times 0 plus 8. 0 is greater than or equal to 8. Okay, that is false. So this is not a solution. So I shade the other side. 22 is a great problem for reviewing solving inequalities. Right? Here we want to get this in y equals mx plus b. So we subtract x from both sides. We get negative y less than or equal to negative x minus 11. And now we're going to do something. We're going to divide this by negative 1, this by negative 1, this by negative 1. Now, do you remember what happens with an inequality when we divide by a negative number? Of course you do. We have to switch the direction of the inequality. So we have y is greater than or equal to x plus 11. All right? So, in this case, our y-intercept is at 11. We can go up 1 over 1. Okay, we go down 1. Keep going down. And because this is an equals, it's going to be a solid line. And make sure you draw your lines big so that it covers the graphs. You don't want little tiny lines. And your line should have arrows. So again, we want to figure out which side to to shade. So we test 0, 0. So 0 minus 0 is less than or equal to negative 11. Is 0 less than or equal to negative 11? Okay, no, it's not. So we shade the top half again. So all the points that are in this shaded area are solutions to this inequality. Next, even problem is number 30. And you should know that this is going to be a vertical line. And the vertical line is going to have an x-intercept. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, none of these problems are having you dotted lines. Okay, so if this equation was x is greater than 5, just for example's sake, then this line, okay, this line right here, which is a vertical line, would be dotted. So, if this does not have an equals, then this is dotted. However, the problem given is this one. So we have to make it a solid line. Now, you could probably figure out which side you're going to shade just by looking at this. X here is 6, and here is 4. So X, okay, it's all the values of X that are greater than 5. But just to be consistent and make sure you understand, we could still test 0, 0. And the X coordinate, 0 greater than or equal to 5, is false. So that's why we shaded that side. For horizontal and vertical lines, you really don't have to test the points. Test a point, it's just obvious that it's going to be greater, so it's going to be going on to the right-hand side. Now we have here, this is going to be a horizontal line. The y-intercept is at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's a solid line. If it didn't have the equals, I would draw a dotted line. But it does have the equals, so we draw a solid line. Okay. And it's going to be less than 4. So this is 3. So we should know that we're going to sketch the bottom. So here we could test 0, 0, and the y is 0. So 0 is less than or equal to 4. That's true, so that's why we shaded the bottom. So those are all the even answers to your 6.7 homework. On your 6.7 notes, you had many problems to do on the back. I won't be able to fit them. So those are the top. And those are the problems on the bottom. So that's it for 6.7. And we will then be going to a new topic.